shit. Holy shit, Batman. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's cold out here. It's got to be in the 50s. This is the first time I've had a fire in forever, and I literally need it. Holy moly! You don't hear, you don't hear the air conditioning unit. Jeez, it is actually chilly out here. Now I can't see my breath yet. Now you know football is in the air. Football is definitely in the air, and look. Jerry Jones, hold on. Here we go. You'll be looking for more leaves to fall from the trees. Well, guess what? They're falling from the trees, bro. Let's get the CeeDee Lamb deal done. But here's what we can at least say. Now, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. I can remember in 2020, we went out and we got Gerald McCoy. We got Emerson Griffin. We got Clinton Dix. We got Dontari Poe. We got a whole bunch of players because we looked at it and we said, we need some more oomph on the defense. We got excited as could be because Gerald McCoy was still playing good coming from Tampa Bay, was excited as could be about becoming a Dallas Cowboy because he said, now I can play in prime time and my family can see it. And he tore up his knee. Clinton Dix, safety, who had played well in places. You thought, man, finally we're taking care of the safety position. Earl Thomas, we tried to get him. Come get me. And he decided to go to Baltimore when he had a chance. Okay, but it was a good thing because he got a little crazy. Then we tried to get Jamal Adams. But they wanted Zach Martin in a first-round pick, and Jerry said El Paso. But we looked and we said, hey, we got a safety. We got some defensive line help. Man, we got an interior defensive lineman. We might be good on that defense. And then historically worst defense in the history of the Dallas Cowboys. So I say, pump the brakes just a little bit here. But here might be the difference. Here might be the difference. Why? Us bringing in Lavelle Joseph, a guy who's in the tail end of his career, much like Dontari Poe. One technique guy, much like Dontari Poe. Older guy, much like Dontari Poe, is going to be a rotational guy. Don't need him for every play. But here's what I can say is, are the Cowboys defense better off right now than they were when they ended the season last year? That is the question. I have to say yes. And the other difference I will say is we brought in Mike Nolan, who seemed to be trying to be everything. We're a 3-4, we're a 4-3, we're a hybrid defense, and so on. And brought in all these new pieces and tried to meld them together. What I will say about Mike Zimmer is I don't know that Mike Zimmer, because he kept guys like Al Harris, that the back end of the defense is really going to change a lot. The linebacking situation, yeah, it's going to change quite a bit because we didn't have any of these guys last year. We didn't have linebackers, so of course that is going to change. The defensive front, the funny thing is Drew, that's what I'm talking to you, Drew. I'm talking to you, Drew. I'm Talking to you, Drew. Um, I'm going to say, you say that the Cowboys don't have the personnel that Mike Zimmer needs to run his defense. Well, I'd say he's got the beef that he likes to have on the defensive line. And see, I know a lot of y'all are going to say, like Dan Salio was trying to say, they're not happy with Mozzie Smith. So they're bringing in other guys. Yeah, but hold up. Hold your horses here. Y'all understand what one technique means, right? Back in my day, we had a name for it. It was called nose guard. Not a nose tackle, a nose guard. If you were a nose guard, that meant you were the guy that lined up over the center. Now it's a one technique guy. Centers being the ones, the guards being the threes, the tackles being a 5, tight ends, 7s. Okay? So you understand what we're talking about. Typically, because one technique is in the middle of the field where the center is furthest out from the line, closest to the defense, because he's right there at the neutral zone with his hands in the neutral zone on the football. You are on that island where you can get bombarded by the guard, or the center. Sometimes the guard and the center. Sometimes the tight end will do a wham block. He's in motion. He's going to hit you. If there's a fullback, sometimes it's the fullback cutting you. You just never know where you're going to get hit. Typically, what you want is a big guy to be like a giant turd in the toilet that clogs it up. That is just a big, immovable force. 3 technique typically is a little bit more leaner. 3 technique guys are on the guards. They need to be able to penetrate and move a little bit better. So typically they'll come down a little in weight. A 5 technique guy is usually a little bit leaner too, but not that much. We're not talking about him being 250 pounds. We're talking about the 280, 290, maybe 300. But what the Cowboys are going to be able to do now is put big bodies in there. Big bodies in the middle. When a team comes at them to run, they'll be able to put a ton of beef on the line. Or half ton, excuse me. They'll be able to put 300 pounders across the board and say, try and move us the hell out of here. We couldn't do that last year. If you do not believe, like I was trying to tell Philly 500 and Dan Salio, and they're, Philly, I'll at least listen to your argument. He is so close-minded, he won't even, okay. But they're going to learn. They're going to learn that the Cowboys defense is built really well. It's not a lot of big name people or anything like that. But I'm going to tell you, you got linebackers that can fly around, and now you got big men that are going to tie up the offensive line and also wreak havoc, where a guy like Micah Parsons is going to be able to come from a multitude of places and wreak havoc. That ball is going to be tipped by the big man. The quarterback's going to be rushed and have the forced fumbles. You're going to have him throwing because he's rushing to receivers that are going to be picked off. This defense is about to get real. And as much as you guys want to go ahead and say it's just Dak, I tell you what, we have a lights out defense last year. I don't care about the 2 interceptions Dak Prescott has. We win that game. Didn't even have to be a lights out defense. If we had a defense that played an average game in the playoffs, we could have won that. Now, Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons, from the end of last year to this year, seems to be like he totally matured. That he put away the childish things. He was asked about doing his podcast, and he's like, look, he said, honestly, I don't think on our day off on Monday that I'm at home doing a podcast for an hour is going to have an effect on whether we win or lose. Basically, I'm surmising. It's no different than sitting around playing PlayStation or Game Boy or whatever the hell it is y'all play with. And I tend to have to agree with that. Because you can't look at him and say he's not putting in the work. You can't look at him and say he doesn't care. You can't look at him and say he doesn't have goals of trying to be great. You can't look at him and say he's not working with his teammates to try and make them better. The only thing right now that worries me about this team is the Joneses and getting this damn deal done. Did a video an hour or so ago about Jamar Chase wanting $40 million a year. Yeah, $40 million a year. See, we sit here and we talk about, oh, well, we're just gonna let him walk, man. He wants too much money, guys. $35 million by this time next year is going to look like a bargain, guys. $55 million this time next year is going to look like a bargain. It's the nature of the beast. It wasn't but 10 years ago that with $20 million, I think Drew Brees was the highest. Y'all remember how everybody lost their mind? Kirk Cousins getting a fully guaranteed $28 million a year deal? Oh my God, that's insane. Yeah. And now we're talking about 60. People, stop worrying about the money. The NFL salary cap is going to go to the moon. We're talking about adding a whole nother week of football. Maybe two. They add another bye week. Yeah. Talking about an 18-game schedule. We're talking about the NFL getting away with the whole antitrust and collusion of Sunday Ticket. So now they're adding more premium stuff to it. You know, everybody is now a gambling site, including ESPN, that will literally be paying royalties to the NFL. I guarantee you, salary cap is going to jump up just like it did this past year, if not more. Crazy thing is, these arguments that we're having right now about paying this guy and paying that guy, bro, it ain't gonna matter. Anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you guys that have been here, supporting the channel, and hitting the like button, subscribing, becoming channel members, super chatting. The season, it sure feels like football season right now, is upon us. And I can't wait till the first games are here. Whew. Just remember, good people, tell the people you love how much you love them. You might not get the chance again. And you know, I love you guys. And God willing, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.